very happy to have Yannick here. Yannick is from one of our partner agencies, and without further ado, I would like to give the word to him.
Yes, thanks for having me at first. Yes, I'm an agent. I'm a football agent, currently living and working in Germany, Hamburg, in the north part. And I'm working for a big agency, for a big Dutch agency. Basically, it's our job to negotiate contracts for our clients to find new clubs and just get the most out of their careers regarding contracts and clubs.
Happy to have you here. You mentioned big agency. Can you say any names, or can you at least say like value maybe of your portfolio, something like that?
Yes, I'm working for the Sports Entertainment Group from the Forbes magazine. They say it's one of the 5 biggest agencies in the world, and our leader is Memphis Depay, who's probably known very well around the world.
What is your take on someone who comes to a country where he or she never played before? What is your advice? What is your experience maybe with that as well?
First of all, I would always would like to learn a lot about the city, the club, the country, the culture up front, because I think many people just underestimate what's really going on in that certain country. And I think also many people underestimate that besides football, there are many facts which are not that easy. I had an example. There was a player from Switzerland I'm still managing, and he was always like, yeah, I want to go to Germany, or I want to go to the Netherlands. I just want to go out of the country. And it was really not easy, because he was right on that stage from the under 19 level to the pro level, and he's definitely a big talent. But then I told him, okay, listen, let's go for like a tryout week to the Netherlands. And then he was there alone in the hotel, 2 times practice a day. The rest of the day, he was alone in his hotel room. And I also wanted to leave him alone on purpose, that he sees that it's not easy. He had no friends. He had no family. Of course, for dinner I was there, but he really saw that it's tough, not only to compete on the field where everyone speaks another language, so he couldn't understand anything, not even the coach, the players. Of course, they can speak English, but on the field, they speak their mother language. It's normal. And on top of that, he was then alone in a new country, in a new culture. And afterwards, he came to me and was like, okay, I think I underestimated that. And I think it's better for me, for my first step, to stay in my comfort zone in Switzerland, and to go in 2 years, maybe the step to the big country like Germany.
I think you're scaring a lot of our players right now. What is like maybe the opportunity also for, let's say, the player you just mentioned, right? Going to a different country, experience all these things, maybe realizing, okay, it's hard, or maybe valuing even more playing at home.
Yeah, first of all, I didn't want to scare anyone. It was just an example which I made the last summer. In general, I just want to figure out that this is like a very big step. It's just to sensitize the people and the players that they should really not take it too easy, first of all, and really get a lot of information up front, because it's not always, okay, I go abroad and everything is fine. So they should really take that into consideration. But, I was also going and leaving Germany 20 years ago or 15 years ago, and went to the United States, and was also a crazy step for me. And I would always do it again. I think the other way around is also awesome. But I would always say, get a lot of information, talk a lot with people who maybe did it already, because they can tell you also their experience, and then just go for it.
I guess you're working with a lot of talent and also professional players already together, dealing with these players. Like, what is the most important thing you as an agent are looking for?
So in general, I would say that patience and being realistic is the most important thing, because right now there are many agents running around and promising things, promising I bring you to the first Bundesliga, but the steps are very tough. I give you a quick example. The players in the under U19 teams play in the Bundesliga, so they play for the big youth teams like Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund, RB Leipzig. From the U19 Bundesliga, they want to go, in best case, to the first Bundesliga, but straight from under 19 to first Bundesliga is, I think, maybe one player a season can reach that. I would say even to the second Bundesliga, only one player reaches that. And maybe if you take Bayern Munich second team to the side, then maybe 5 players from the U19 Bundesliga are going straight to the third league. So this is a very tough stage. Of course, that's why I'm coming back to being realistic. Every youth player is always thinking, I can go there right now, but being patient is key in the whole development, because in that case, young players need to be patient, because then they play together with experienced players. They play together with players who have probably not the level. They are not as fast as they are. They are not technically as good as they are, but they have more experience. They need to adapt to this men's football. So in my opinion, patience and also being realistic in what they're capable of and what they need to do better is key.
Perfect. You mentioned to prepare before you do something. How important is it for you also as an agent, if you look at the player, to have a professional looking resume, a video and so on? Because obviously you cannot visit every player in person.
Always telling the players to do that, but telling young players some things, sometimes they say, yeah, I do it, but they don't. And they really just see what I mean and experience what I mean when they got there. So preparation, I think it doesn't matter if it's about the football or about things in life. Changing cultures, changing countries is always important. So when I'm coming back to my players, which I manage, and we're looking for a new club, maybe also a new country, then I'm trying to explain them in detail what is it all about. And many players really take that serious and some players not. But at the end of the day, they need to live with the consequences. So if there's, for example, a certain club here in Hamburg, we have the club FC St. Pauli, which is, I would say, a very political club, a club with a fan base, with a big fan base. And, for example, you cannot really go there with a very expensive car because the fans are very easy. They're this is like a working club, a workers club. And one time when we transferred a player there, I told him, listen, it's a very emotional club. Please don't drive with a Porsche to the signing of your contract, because the fans would not like that and it would be a bad start for you. And he did it. And afterwards, the press on the next day already had an article. The player came with a Porsche, and so on and so on. And it was already a bad start. So this is just an example for things he did not really prepare. He did not really wanted to listen. And at the end of the day, it can also have a negative influence in you.
Yeah, I think what we always mention is once you enter this kind of really selective process, let's call it like this, you need to be acting professional. You need to have your information ready, because if someone is asking for, let's say, hey, do you have your player profile? Do you have your player resume ready? And they don't have it. Boom, next player. Like it's just like so competitive, and it's really good to hear from you as well. What do you recommend to stand out? What do you recommend to these players?
I would always recommend that if they have certain strengths, that they need to improve more their strengths than always working on their weaknesses. Of course, if you have a big weakness, you need to work on it. But the clubs are always telling me the same. Like, what is like the biggest strengths of the player? This is always the first question. And if then someone is telling them, yeah, he's good in everything, or yeah, he's a top football player, or he's technical good, and they're always saying, yeah, but this is something everyone needs to be or needs to have. So tell me, what is his really strengths? So maybe if you're a very, very fast player, this is like something every team needs. Oh, he has a brilliant header. This is something a team needs. So I would always recommend, because I hear from the clubs always, work on your strengths to have, like, I don't know, the biggest strengths you can even have, that the clubs really see something special in you. Because here also in Germany, there are so many players from the youth academies who are good players, but the teams always want to have one player on each position with something they don't have here. And that's why I would always recommend that.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for that. How important is communication? And with communication, we mean obviously talking to agents, to coaches, to clubs, but also, let's say, emailing or messaging.
In my opinion, communication is key in every situation in life. When we go to the situation of a coach and a player model, having a good communication from each side is a basic, in my opinion. It doesn't matter on which level. If you have a good network, it will always help you. And extending your network, it doesn't matter how in these times, maybe also sometimes over a video call or over social media, having a big network will always help you. Overall, over the world, there are so many players. It doesn't matter if you're in Germany, if you're in the United States, if you're in England, there are so many players, and always little things make a difference. And it begins with having your player profile, collecting all your games you have. If you're playing in the under 19 Bundesliga, or if you're playing in the youth division in America, it's always important to have your own data together, to first of all be professional, and on the second step, always being proactive in your communication. Because if you're communicating, if you are approaching coaches, other teammates, you always have the chance to get seen. But if you always wait on getting a call or getting a text from someone, it will probably not really happen often. So I'm always telling my players, it doesn't matter on which stage you are, it doesn't matter where you are right now, be proactive, communicate a lot, communicate good to use your network you already have. And I think this is very, very important, especially when you want to go somewhere else where not everyone knows you.
We talked about patience, and I would like to just ask again a little bit more what that actually means. Does it mean you just sit at home, or what is patience?
Patience for me is, especially when you're young, everyone, dreams of playing Champions League with 20, playing Champions League like Reina right now in Dortmund, or Pulisic at Chelsea right now. Not everyone is having a career like that, and patience is for me to really get every single chance you have to get and make the most out of it. Yeah, when I think back to my one player who was on tryout somewhere in the Netherlands, and it did not really work out, I think, from both sides. It was a great experience, and he made the most of it because he got to know two new, I would say, friends for his network. He had a great experience in another culture at another club, which he could use a lot for himself. And that's why I'm always telling my players, even if you had I would say, bad experience somewhere, it's not a bad experience, because every experience is good. You can use it for you, and it's just about how you use it, because you grow from that, even though you're not playing, or you need to go for a new team because you haven't played that much. It's your experience to get out of that stronger, to become a better player, to become a better person. And that's why I'm trying to be very positive always, also with my clients, because that's what it's all about.